Hi everyone, I'm Wendy and this is Show Me Mo Vegan, where I make easy, whole food vegan meals. And if I move out of the way, you'll see there's a different refrigerator back there. Yes, my refrigerator went out, and it was kind of sad because my other refrigerator was only a couple years old. But it was going to take at least 4 days in the shop to repair, plus it was going to cost almost as much as I paid for the fridge. So I decided just to get a new one. And I thought it would be fun to show you what I ate while my fridge was out, because as a whole food vegan, most of the food that you're eating is fresh food that needs to be refrigerated. So I was pretty lucky on the timing of this because, first of all, it's winter, and right now my garage just so happens to be between about 38 and 40 degrees, which is perfect refrigerator temperatures. So I kept most of my food in a couple coolers in the garage. I'm also very fortunate to have a chest freezer, so I was able to save those things from my fridge's freezer in the chest freezer. Finally, I go grocery shopping once a week and I fill my fridge to the brim, and by the end of the week it's usually looking pretty sad and empty. And my fridge happened to go out the day before I was going to go grocery shopping. So there wasn't really all that much in my fridge to begin with, and I just decided not to restock as much as I normally would, and instead use up food that was in my chest freezer. So go ahead and take a look at what I ate while my fridge was out. Normally I batch cook steel cut oats and keep them in the fridge and eat it all week. I kind of lucked out because I had just finished my last batch of steel cut oats the day before the fridge went out, so at least I didn't lose any of that. So instead of my usual steel cut oats, I'm just going with rolled oats today. And then as usual, I will chop up a date or two for a little sweetness. And then luckily I have a chest freezer, so I still have frozen berries to add to my oatmeal. And then of course to my smoothie as well. So I also was able to keep my greens and celery and soybeans in the garage. So my garage right now is cold enough to keep some things good. Normally I also like to put cucumber in my smoothie, but I didn't have any and I didn't want to buy anything while my refrigerator was broken. So we'll just go with the greens and the celery and soybeans as usual. And then I also have my flaxseed here that I'll add to my oatmeal. So I'll just pop the oatmeal in the microwave for a couple minutes and then blend up my smoothie. Oh, I also forgot to mention, I just happened to use up all of my frozen bananas when the fridge went out, so at least I didn't lose any of those. But I'm just going to use some fresh bananas. I like to use frozen in smoothies because it makes it nice and cold and delicious, but a room temperature banana will do just fine in a pinch. For lunch, I went digging in the pantry and the chest freezer, and right now I'm getting some water heated up to make these little millet and brown rice ramen noodles. They come in these little patties and they're really delicious, and it only takes like less than 5 minutes to cook. So I'll just throw one of these patties in a second once my water is boiling. And then I had a portion of lentils in my freezer, so I thawed that out. And then I'm gonna mix that with these Chinese stir-fry vegetables and then some spinach. And then I also found, this doesn't look very appealing in here, but this is a good thing. I'm using up things from my chest freezer. These are little cubes of pesto that I made. I don't remember exactly how I made them, but I know this one had mint and basil, and then I usually use lemon juice and some garlic, and then sometimes I also throw balsamic vinegar in there as well. And then I got, for flavoring, I'm just gonna use some coconut aminos, a little bit of rice vinegar, and I think that'll be it. After eating my lunch, I was still a little hungry and I wanted something a little sweet. So I love getting dates from Date Lady just to snack on. This variety is really tiny, so I'll probably eat a few of these. For dinner, I'm having this Plant Strong chili. Of course, when you eat a whole food vegan diet, it's important to have a fridge because you're probably eating a lot of fresh stuff. And a lot of processed foods are very unhealthy, and they include lots of oil and salt and added sugars. And while this Plant Strong one isn't salt-free, it's pretty low sodium, especially compared to some of the other things that you can keep handy. I don't eat these things all the time, but they are nice to keep for when you need something quick or when you don't have a fridge. And then I'm gonna bake a sweet potato to go along with it, and I'll make a little salad. And I'm just gonna add some tomatoes and clementines to that, and I'll simply dress it with a little bit of vinegar. I also had these Ezekiel pitas in my freezer. I might cut these up and toast them so I have little pita chips to go with my chili. So that's what I ate one day while my fridge was out, and it took a couple of days before I was able to get my new one, and I ate very similar items the next couple of days. If you have the space for it, I really do recommend getting a chest freezer because you can keep tons of frozen fruits and veggies to hold you over if your fridge ever does go out. Of course, don't forget about fresh fruit is also a great option to keep on hand. And of course, remember some of the healthiest foods you can keep in your pantry. Things like potatoes, canned beans, and dried grains. If you keep these items on hand, you'll always have plenty of options to throw together an easy, whole food vegan meal. If your fridge is out, just make sure you only make enough that you can eat it all, since you won't be able to save your leftovers. Hopefully this was helpful and gave you some ideas. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.